Turning back to that breaking news out of Chicago, Customs and Border Protection says agents were shot at while conducting an immigration enforcement operation earlier today. Cameras from our Fox affiliate were there in the aftermath of the shooting. That's the video currently on your screen. There have been weeks of tension in Chicago over the Trump administration's crackdown on illegal immigration, amid a legal battle over whether the White House can send the National Guard there. Former acting ICE Director Jonathan Fahey is with us. Jonathan, so a black Jeep apparently speeds by a bunch of ICE officers. Shots are fired and the Jeep speeds off. What's your reaction?
You know, I want to say it would be shocking or something else, but I feel like with all of this rhetoric and all this what's been going on in the last several months with this rhetoric, political rhetoric directed at ICE agents, directed at CBP, it's not surprising that the level of violence against them has risen. And something like this, and even something worse than this, are bound to happen because of the rhetoric. And the unfortunate thing is these ICE agents are simply doing a job that they're required to do. And these politicians are, elevating themselves, their status within the Democratic Party by essentially tacitly supporting this type of activity.
It's a wonder, frankly, that nobody was hurt. ICE agents had to call in local police. Are they allowed or are they not allowed to actually, enforce local law and maybe fire back in a situation like this?
Well, they're certainly allowed to defend themselves and also to arrest somebody doing that, because that would be a federal law violation as well. But it just gets so complicated because you have the locality, of Chicago and Illinois as a whole that are basically fighting against, the governments are fighting against the federal government at every step of the way. So they're really not getting the support that they need. And even the local police probably want to support them, but they're not getting the support from their upper level. So it really is just a bad situation. And again, these agents that are out there, these are moms and dads, brothers, sisters, neighbors of so many people, and they're putting their lives on the line, and they're in fact doing what they're supposed to do. And these politicians, it goes so far beyond irresponsible political rhetoric, what's been going on. And it's sad that we're going to have to be either today or down the road on one of these shows talking about some horrible tragedy that in many respects could be prevented.
Yeah, because it's a strange time in this country when law enforcement officials not only get criticized for doing their jobs, but they've had bricks and paint cans thrown at them in Chicago for trying to pick up illegal immigrants.
Yeah, it's really insane if you think about it, and the rhetoric coming against them. They're routinely, as we talk about a lot here, they're routinely compared to Nazis by our highest level politicians, not just some fringe politician. So it really does say it's acceptable to resist them and what they're doing, and it's acceptable to harm them if you equate them to Nazis and delegitimize everything they're doing. And it's not surprising that certain members of the public are responding this way, and it is just, again, yeah, the ones that are actually doing their jobs responsibly are the ones that are attacked, which is just the ultimate irony and the tragedy of this whole thing, in addition to the tragedy on the streets today.
So if this person is caught, what kind of prosecution might they face, given that it's Chicago, Illinois?
Well, the good news is there will be federal charges that could be brought, attempted murder of a federal agent and things of that nature, use of a firearm during a crime of violence. So they really are some serious federal charges, which will carry a serious penalty. Just the firearms offense alone would have a 10-year mandatory minimum. But again, your point is overall right, overall good, in that you're going to be still trying a case in Chicago where you have citizens that are really turned against ICE agents. So, hopefully you would get a jury that would convict on the facts rather than nullify these situations. And there's also a plethora of state charges, attempted murder, other types of things that could also be brought against this person. And hopefully people for this type of thing would unite and support a prosecution, and ultimately, hopefully, significant sentence would be laid out in this case, because whoever did this needs to be off the streets, and off the streets for good. And anyone that's thinking about doing this needs to see that message and realize it's not worth it.
Yeah, it is fortunate that none of those agents was hit by that random gunfire or directed gunfire. Jonathan Fahey. Jonathan, thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here.
Let's establish something very quickly. Just because you do a job, that doesn't automatically justify or means that you're doing a right thing. That's up to the people, the collective, to decide if what you're doing is justified. And as we're speaking on this very moment, majority speaking, they don't agree with your job. So therefore, it is right for what they're doing to you. Second of all, um, this is actually a good thing. It's to show you that don't fucking come to our town, don't fucking come to our state, stay the fuck home, and don't ever think of fucking around with us.